Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm gonna give it, let's say, a minute or two before we start. So come on in the meantime, I'm gonna play a bit of music until we are ready to start. Just hang in there. I'll be starting in a few minutes. Come on in and give me a few minutes. We'll be starting in a few minutes. Just give me a few minutes. Let me finish setting up. All right, all right, all right, all right. Welcome to another wonderful Wednesday, another wonderful winning Wednesday. I'm happy that you're all here. I haven't been here in a couple of sessions, but I'm happy to be back here. I actually missed doing this. I missed being on the seat and sharing and talking to our listeners. Welcome, welcome, and join in. Come on in, set yourselves comfortable. This session today is going to be pretty quick, I believe. So I'm not going to keep you much long over here. I'm hoping Lee will be able to join in. I know he's supposed to join in once he's done with his calls or his meetings, so he should be able to join in. But before he comes on in, I know he's did two sessions where he was sharing on business credit and building business credit, the do's and don'ts. I hope those sessions have been beneficial to you all. And like we always say, if you still have any other questions, our website is here, our emails are on here, our numbers are on here. Please do reach out. Don't do this all by yourself. This is why the platform is here. This is why we do what we do. Don't try and do it all by yourself. A little story about that is that when we first started investing in real estate, for a couple of months or so, when we were looking for opportunities to even invest in, we figured we may be able to just do it by ourselves. We could do it by ourselves. However, as time went on, we really realized that when you work with other people, besides you just being able to invest your funds and get the returns from those deals, there's a whole lot that you learn from working with other people. There's different perspectives, there's different lessons that you can get from other people. There's the power of building relationships. It is those very relationships that may help you propel to the next level, right? So, similar to what we are doing here, as we talk more and more about real estate or about setting up, making sure that you have a business credit, You also have those strong relations and networks and things of that sort. It's just important to make sure that all these things are done to ensure that you give your business the opportunity to propel to the next level with that support, right? So as you come on in, as you do this, my hope is that even if it's not with me or with Lee or with just us, is that as a business owner, surround yourself with other like minded business owners. There is nothing as beautiful as seeing business owners working together, collaborating, and winning together, right? It's one thing to say, these are my competitors, I don't want to work with them, but change the mindset, collaborate, find ways in which you can work together to win. This business is really about being in a position where you are able to give back, you are able to do the things that you enjoy, that you are passionate about. And what better way than doing it with others who can also lift you whenever you need that extra lift, who can help you, who can guide you, right? I just think it's just important to do that. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we talk about establishing business credit and being in a position where you set a great foundation, financial foundation for your business. There are always so many workshops, so many networking sessions where this is also encouraged, depending on where you are. Get involved with whether it's your chamber of commerce, whether it's the county development office. Get involved. Those are some of the resources that are available out there that will teach you, that will encourage you, and that will help you in your quest to find business funding. It's another way in which you can get involved in the community, know what services are available out there, and get involved, do something, and win with others. All right. I think the other thing that today I had wanted to talk about was just the value of making sure that as you build your business, that there is an element of a going concern. And part of that can also be established through ensuring that as a business owner, you have the right policies and insurance that can guide and help your business. I know that a lot of us, depending also on the type of business that you do, a lot of us have liability insurance. A lot of us have general insurance on our businesses, but I'm yet to see a lot of business owners opting and choosing to also have insurance on themselves, whether it's on themselves or on a key person within the organization or within the business. This is as equally important because what you are literally doing is saying, when this key person is no longer there, I would love to give my business a shot of continuity, even with that person no longer there. That to me looks like setting up yourself to ensure that you give this business an opportunity to continue, to restructure, to be sold versus just closing down on day one as soon as that key person is no longer there. There are options available. One of the things that I hear a lot of people talk about is, I can barely pay bills, my business, I'm not making so much money, and insurance is expensive. However, when you go back and look at the business expenses and things like that, you will find that a lot of us, we pay for phones, you pay for meals to entertain, you pay for all these other services and other things that are needed. And most of the time, insurance is the least amount of our worries until the day that it is needed. So don't be that business owner who leaves certain necessary and important things that sustain the business, leave them until the last minute or until you're no longer there, and those who are left behind are left literally scrambling and trying to figure things out. I believe we all, as business owners, this this is your baby. I've had one or two people who say, listen, my business is my life. And if you value that much, then the bigger question is, what are you doing to make sure that you are enforcing, or you are limiting the risks that could come with you as the business owner or as the operator no longer being in that position? Not only does it help with the business, but that also plays and comes along with your family, because once you are no longer able to be there in the business, your family that is left behind then has to make the decisions of, do we sell the business? Do we just close doors? What do we do? However, if there is some type of security that comes from some extra funding that's available, it allows the business to think about options. Do we pivot? Do we sell and have enough time to sell, not sell under pressure because we don't know how to pay next month's bills? Or do we decide, let's hire someone else to come and take over? But when you have that extra money, the family is able to make these decisions and hopefully save this baby that you're working so hard for right now to establish and set. And the other thing is, when you do have a family as well, when you're no longer there as the business owner and you have passed on, your family will get some of those funds. Then your family is in a position where they're able to continue even after the income that you were bringing in is no longer there. There is nothing painful for families than when a family member passes on and their whole lives are changed and are disrupted, and they have to make some of the difficult decisions of either closing down business, moving or selling their home, or moving a little bit further out to where life is a little bit more affordable for them. You want to make sure that as you run this baby, this business of yours, you are equipped, you are planning for the future, and you're putting things in place to just make sure that you are helping whoever will be remaining after you have gone, and you are helping them and giving them an opportunity to possibly continue the legacy that you have already started. And how does that come about? There's a lot of options out there. Sometimes I hear a lot of people say, well, I don't see the need to buy a key person insurance. I think as long as that person has some type of insurance, whether it's term insurance or permanent insurance, whatever it is. I'm not here to tell you which one is best, but I am a believer that something is better than nothing, right? Every situation is going to be different. I mean, the same way as when you run your own business, right? You make decisions as to, do I go with, for example, for your internet, do you make a decision? Do you go with Verizon? Do you go with AT&T? Who do you want to go with? That is entirely up to you. You have all these options. Similar thing to insurance. You have to come in, have those conversations so that there's an understanding of what the need is and what the desired outcome is, and then map and discuss options, after which you can select your options, right? Some people will say to you, I'm a firm believer in term insurance. That way, once I'm 65 or whatever age I am and that lapses, then I know at least I was able to have some type of coverage in the event that something happened in those earlier years where there's a lot of dependents who are looking over me or looking at me for support. And then there are other people who say, well, I would still love to have something more permanent. I'm looking for something where even after or even in my 70s and 80s, I still have a policy that when I pass on, I can still leave something for those who are coming after me. Then you can look at that. You also have others who say, I just want to make sure that I set enough money for my partner so that when I pass, my partner is guaranteed or can get access to X amount of funds, maybe on a monthly basis. I know that will be beneficial to them, that will help them, that will keep them wherever, whether it's in their home or whether it's in the business, even after the other partner has passed on. So there are options. Don't just say, oh, I don't believe I can afford this. Unless you've sat down, you've analyzed the expenses that you have, you've analyzed how much everything would cost, and then you've looked at what your business can afford. Then you can then make a decision and say, you know what? I have done everything within my power to be in a position where I can get some type of insurance. However, even after looking at my finances, I'm still not able to. Then, in that situation, changes can be made. Then you can determine what is the way forward. How does it look like if I plan to maybe get this a year from now? Then you work towards that. Part of being business owners is that we do a lot of planning, we do a lot of sitting down and reflecting. So you have to have that time to reflect, look at your expenses, look at your income, see where can changes be made, how best can I improve, what are some of the things that I need to take out and replace or take out and just not have a replacement. Those are the questions that, as a business owner, you have to have, whether it's on a yearly basis, on a quarterly basis, however often you want to be in a position where you have those conversations, you have that time to sit back and reflect and say, okay, I've come this far. This is where I am now. How do I get to the next 3 months, or how do I get to the next year? What is the plan, or where do I see this business in the next 5 years? What are some of the things that I'm going to need to make sure that I can make it to the next 5 years? And what are some of the things that the business is going to need in the event that I'm no longer there? Or what are some of the things that the business will not need once I'm no longer there? What am I doing? Do I have a succession plan? How does that look like? Does my family even know what the succession plan is? Some business owners are fortunate in that both partners are working in the business, whereas there are some where there could just be one person and the other one has something else that they're doing. What is the succession plan? Does everybody know what happens if, or when rather, the other one is no longer there? Those are conversations that we have to get used to having, get used to talking about and making decisions and then acting on them. I know at some point, when my husband and I had to sit down and think about some of these things, for me, it took a while because it almost felt like, why are we talking death? Why are we talking death? Like, are we saying we're seeing ourselves die soon, or what is the purpose of this? However, after much reflection, I said these things are important because you don't want to be left hanging. You don't want to pass on, and whoever is left behind is wondering, okay, where do I even start? What do I need to do? So do those things now while you still can. Save what you can for the business. Make sure that the business has sufficient for tomorrow and the coming days. If the business doesn't have that, where's your succession plan? Have you put that in place? And have you started having those conversations with whoever is responsible once you're no longer there to make sure that when you do pass on, those things can be passed on to those things can be passed on to the next people. I see Lee just joined in. We are about to wrap it up. However, we'll still welcome him in. We'll
Well,
to him.
I have to say, where I joined the conversation, we have to uplift the audience because you were talking about if things go wrong. Remember, we're talking about here wonderful winning Wednesdays.
And part of winning is just having a plan, having that succession plan to ensure that there is continuity even when things don't work out the way we had planned. I can sit here and plan for 5 years. However, I'm not guaranteed of that 5 years. So the best that I
Hmm.
can do is to have some type of plan to say, if I'm not here to be able to fulfill these plans that I've set out for 5 years, have I communicated these things with Lee so that the business can continue, the family can continue?
Okay, so catch me up on where that conversation had went because we have always evangelized and spoken to others about being in a position whereby the business owner has a whole life insurance policy, and the business owner is able to leverage that whole life insurance policy for working capital needs when those working capital needs should arise.
Yes, so basically, in a nutshell, the conversation was around part of our responsibility as business owners is as we sit down and reflect every year, every quarter, however often, is that we put in place a succession plan, and that succession plan has to include your insurance in there, whether it's term insurance, whether it's whole life, whatever insurance that's going to meet your need. It's going to be different from everyone. Whatever policy that you want to put in place, make sure you have that, because that is something that can be used once you are no longer there. That can be used for either your family or to keep the business running for several months until the family decides what's the next steps. And all that is just getting us as business owners into a comfortable position where we are able to have conversations about succession plans of our businesses. A lot of us are building these businesses, and these businesses are literally like our babies. We treasure them so much, and when you treasure something, you have to plan for it. You have to think about the risks and see, is there anything that I can do to mitigate some of these risks? And if there are you in a position where you're able to take those risks and think about the mitigation strategies, take the mitigation strategies, employ them to make sure that you're giving your baby that you're building so hard the opportunity to continue even after you have passed on.
Yeah, did you? But insurance is somewhat of a dry topic,
True,
right?
true.
Dry topic. It's a little bit boring as well. But
Mhm.
help with the opportunities that you have by going this route versus going the term route, right? From the perspective of a business owner, and that they can actually leverage those policies while they are alive.
Exactly. That is why I usually tell people every person's situation is going to be different, right?
Hmm.
You hear people sometimes who say, this policy is better than that one. I don't believe it's because one is better. It's just that everybody has a different need. As business owners, one of the needs that we usually have is capital or access to funds. As long as that is something that is of value to you or that is of interest to you as a business owner, then yes, when you are talking of insurance, a whole life will always come into play purely because it gives you a living benefit that allows you to tap into that cash now as and when you need it. For someone else, they may say, cash is not a problem for me. In that area, I'm good. I just want to just make sure that when I pass on, my family has some type of funds or sometimes of some type of money coming into them. Then in that instance, you're okay with something like a term life insurance. However, whatever the need is, we are here to walk you through and discuss what those needs are, and then we will give you options to say, with this type of need, this is the best option for you, and go that route.
Well, you said something that I just wanted to double click on. Is you said that every business has the capital that they need, and I remember Jerry Jones saying when he built out the Dallas arena is that they should not have given him access to so much capital because his imagination just went crazy. And I'm sure if he had access to more capital, he probably would have built a Disneyland
Exactly.
in Dallas if he had access to more capital.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversations that I'm having with so many of these business owners is that they don't have access to capital,
Yeah.
right? And one of the things that we try to work with them on is putting together a plan and a roadmap as to how do you get access to the capital regardless of your situation,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So something that a lot of business owners may not know about is business revenue financing, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are some aspects to business revenue financing that include quick funding turnaround. There's no collateral required. You could have a low personal credit score, 500 plus, right? And you have the option of making daily or weekly types of payments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I wanted to use the opportunity that we have here today to talk about is if you are a business and you are a business that has been in business for 6 months or more, right? And you have bank statements that show you have revenues coming into your business more than 5 transactions in a month, but you have revenues coming into your business, that is an opportunity that can be leveraged in order to get additional financing for working capital, for strategic growth, for whatever that business owner needs to. I always love to say your business should not be on a diet because it doesn't have access to capital, right?
That's
You don't want to have a slim and skinny business just because you don't have access to capital. And I think that that's why people should reach out to us here at VIP Biz Funds or Business Credit so that we could have that full conversation to educate our consumer that there are opportunities to get not only financing, but if they were to leverage these things and bring them together, right? The sum
mhm.
is greater than the
Yeah.
whole. So you have access to capital and financing here. You have access to a whole life insurance policy here. When you combine those two together, wow. I believe that it's amazing as to what it is that you could actually do when you bring those two together. So
That,
that's all what we wanted to talk about today. And my apologies for being late, but I had a coaching session that went a little bit longer, right? But it was a great conversation that we needed to have. And I wanted to join in for the last couple of minutes because when you believe that there is despair and that hey, there is no solution to my problem, I think that you should not isolate yourself, and you need to reach out to others
Yeah.
and leverage us as a resource who you can reach out to, because we can be in a position to be able to help you to to brainstorm
Hmm.
and come up with collective ideas that can be beneficial to you, your business, and the survival of your business, especially when you treat your business as though it's your baby. We don't want your baby to have to close shop, and no longer offer services, because we believe that the reason why you created this business in the first place was because you saw that there was a market need.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, without you being in business, that need, where are those customers going to go in order to be serviced?
Definitely. So I guess in closing, really, what it goes back to what we said when we what I said when we started. This platform is here so that we can grow together as business owners. If I'm not in a position to assist you directly, I may know someone else who could be of help to you. So the platform allows us as business owners to grow together, to get access to the funds that we need, to gain knowledge and wisdom from having conversations with other business owners to see how they are tackling their own weaknesses or how they are tackling any issues that may arise from running their own businesses. So, in closing, we are here and we want to work with you. We want to collaborate. We want to have an opportunity to grow together. So, whatever the need might be, reach out. Let's see how we can best assist each other. For those
Mm.
of you as business owners who say, I want to come on this platform, talk a little bit about my business, talk about how you got to get into business, what do you do, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, do reach out as well. We love having guests over here. We love the opportunity to have those type of conversations with other business owners. And with that, Lee, you want to
Hmm.
close us up, or otherwise, we will see you on another session of Wonderful Winning Wednesday. Keep on winning.
Wonderful
Keep on.
winning Wednesdays. Keep winning. Yes, I love it. This is growing. This is growing. Wonderful winning Wednesdays. Keep winning is going to be our hashtag. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you all next week.
Bye bye.